Okay, so this is going to be the first video of a few where I go over pretty much an overview of the features provided in the FPS template plugin. So we're going to be doing this in sections here. So as you can see, we have one section for firearm, one for projectiles, one for character, the firearm parts, the animation, the sights, and then some other things like effects. I need to clean this up a little bit. So we're going to start with the first section, which is going to be the firearm. So as you can see, pretty much everything here, anyways, visually, when I hit play, is handled procedurally. So starting from the top, we have procedural aiming, firearm sway, movement sway, breathing, and the ability to reload while aiming. So to make the sway more relevant, let's look through a sight here. You can see we got some sway. We got some lag here from the weapon, so procedural movement, procedural lag. We have procedural walking sway and all that kind of stuff. And that covers that. We also have reload while aiming. So I can do a normal reload. And I can also reload while aiming. Next up, we have custom firearm default stats. So if we go and look at one of the firearms here, I'll just bring up the M4, for example. We come over here, we have the default properties, we have the default stats. So here we can customize pretty much the base of the gun. So the only parts of this gun by default are the upper and lower receiver and the buffer tube. Everything else is all part of the attachment system, which I will be covering here shortly, probably actually in a separate video when we get into parts. So here's the base stats. So we have it. This gun weighs 1.2 kilos. We have 50 ergonomics, 200 vertical, and 320 horizontal recoil. So that affects obviously how the gun handles. So things like the heavier the gun. So if I bump this up to 4 kilos for the base weight, as you can see, we have a lot more sway, and the weapon just moves around a good bit more. It's not nearly as steady. So I'm going to put that back at 1 point something. And let's go into the next section. So firearm gets affected by different attachments. So as you can see here, these are all different attachments. So a brief overview of that. When I move into the weapon customization, as you can see, the weight is currently at 4.7 kilos with all these parts attached. If I go through and add a scope mount, that weight increases. And then if I go through and I'll add a scope onto that, the weight increases even more, as well as the ergonomics themselves have decreased. So your parts control how your weapon handles and how it performs by altering the default stats that you end up with on the firearm. Moving down, exact attachments are also movable. So as you saw, I just slid the scope mount up and down the receiver, and that works for pretty much any part. So for example, I'll add the scope mount back, and I'll add a scope in it. I can click and drag the scope mount and move it up and back wherever I want it. And that goes for other parts as well. So like vertical grips, angled grips, really any type of grip. And you can define the starting point and the ending point of which you can drag that part around with. Next up, we have the procedural recoil that is influenced by the part stats. So here I have, again, the default weight and all that kind of stuff. So I'll just see we're at 4.7 kilos. So I'll switch to full auto and spray. I forgot I adjusted the fire rate of this to be absurdly high. Let me revert that back down to 800. Okay. Again, I'll switch to full auto. There you can see it's a recoil pattern. You can ignore the ton of shots. I have set up the ammo to be pretty high. So that's the base recoil. Let's bump this up again to something kind of absurd like 5 kilos. Well, if I go back to full auto, as you saw, the gun jumped around a lot less to where it really it didn't move around a whole lot. It would be very controllable. And again, these values are tunable. So if I drop the vertical recoil down to 20, something very low, it doesn't rise much at all. So let me revert that back. And again, this is all influenced by the stats. So as you also add more attachments onto the gun, that is going to affect your recoil as well. So as you see here, it also lowers your aiming and cycling sight speeds. So for reference, we have the default at 1.2 kilos. Let me add a red dot, and I don't have a reflex sight set up for that attachment. But here's the aiming speed at 1.2 kilos with 50 ergonomic. Here's the sight cycling speed. And if I bump up the weight to, again, I'll just keep doing 5, we get a little bit slower of speed. So here's the new speed. It's slowed down a little bit. Same thing with cycling. It's just got a little bit, like it's as if it's moving around a heavier firearm. Now the ergonomics makes up a lot of this as well. So if I want to, I can bump this up to 300. And you'll, again, this is just for a very obvious difference. I'll attach the exact same parts. And when I aim, as you can see, it's much faster. And same thing with cycling through the sights. It is much faster. So I'm going to put this back down to the default values and continue. So we have replicated fire modes. That was when you saw me switching between safe, semi, all the way to full auto. That's what that was. That again is replicated. You can change the burst amount. So if we look at the fire mode, we have the burst count. Currently it's set to 3-round burst. I can bump that up to 8. And we now have 8-round burst. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right there. We'll leave that back to 3 as default. Then let's see, we have the burst amount right there. We have camera shake on fire. So here I provide an example camera shake that you can kind of use as a point of reference. But basically, the character, I've set up a function that it can call that plays the camera shake. All you got to do is simply call it. And you can also pass in the scale that you wish to play the camera shake with. So it's just a little helper function for you to go through and play the camera shake with. So we have left hand IK positioning for handguards and forward grips. So if I enable use left hand IK on the firearm, as you can see here, give it a second, we have attached it via left hand IK to the handguard, which I have a socket just for it on the handguard. By default, it's back here for the mag well. So I'm gripping the handguard. Let me switch and I'll grip the vertical grip. As you can see, the grip pose changed and it moved to the vertical grips position. So if I slide this out, the hand goes out. So I can replace that with the angled foregrip. And currently that socket, I need to actually move it over. I completely missed that. But again, you can see the hand pose has changed once more to grip the angled forward grip. So I'm going to turn that back off again by default. So firearm parts have their stats and fluids, the entire procedural system. So that's kind of what I already showed off with how like heavier firearms have less recoil and all that kind of stuff. So things like the vertical grips, you can see here we have ergonomic of 50, if I had a vertical grip, bumps up to 55 and the recoil change. So we can look at that again. Whoops. So recoil 176 and 281. It drops down to 160 and 256. So the recoil does affect, the parts affect recoil and everything as well. So we have easy firearm and part customization using my component system. So that is basically all of these. So if I wanted to add a new part, let's say I wanted to add, I don't know. I'll add a, why not? We'll add a forward grip to the side here just for visuals. Or actually, I'll just add, let's see, what do I want to do? I will add a random sight, I guess, that attaches to the bolt, because why not do something kind of interesting? So I'll add my FPS template part component. And here I'm just going to attach it to the bolt. So you don't actually have to go through and attach these. Where is actually the bolt? I'm being kind of blind here. No, there it is at the bottom. So you don't have to attach these via socket or bone. You can actually move them around wherever you see fit. So in my case, I'm just going to attach it to the bolt because that's where I want it to be. We can add a preview mesh here. So I'll just add a reflex sight. So we have a point of reference. I will cant it about 45 degrees and move it out and down just a little bit. So know that this is where it's going to aim. So what you see here, these are all just the preview meshes, so you can get the positioning where you want. So I'm going to go ahead and add the reflex sight as a part, or as a possible part. So let me save, and that's going to be it. I can go to the side view here, add the reflex sight. Now I'll aim using the reflex sight when I shoot. As you can see, the sight goes with the bolt, which gives it a pretty funny looking effect, at least in my opinion. So we have that. Now I'm going to get rid of this because it is, well, stupid. Anyways, So part compatibility is built into the component system, so you cannot add parts to the gun or attachment that are not compatible. So that's kind of what I was just kind of saying. So as I come here and I have this part here, which is this reflex sight, we have a list of possible parts. So if I wanted to go through and add a specific part that this slot would take care of, I would have to specify it in the possible parts array. So currently, this will only hold reflex sights. If I go to this one, I have it set to hold flip mounts, scope mounts, and the magnifiers. I can also go ahead and add another one, which will be the reflex sight for the back. So when I view it, we have the flip mount, the scope mount, the normal magnifier, and the reflex sight, all of which work all the same. So I can add a scope mount, move it where I want, attach a scope in there, and I now have a magnified optic on top of my firearm. So this has systems built into it to where when you go to actually add the part, it will check and make sure that you can add the part. If not, it just flat out won't do anything. So I think I can probably do it here. So we grab the part component. We have a check here. So is part compatible? And we could just pass in the part that we are trying to, add to it. That'll return true or false. Or we can straight up just do add part and add in the part as well, and it will return a value based upon whether or not the part was added. So if the part could not be added, this will return false. If it is added, it will return true, indicating that, hey, this part was added. You can go ahead and do whatever you wish with it based upon that event. Next up, we have weapon collision handling and high and low port / ready. So that's kind of like your high and low ready. So this is a work in progress. So basically, as I walk into this wall here, you can see I have collision on the firearm. So as I look up and look around, the firearm kind of uses this and it's pushing against the wall as it has kind of collision. It's blocking the firearm. And this is based upon the distance of the fire or just the muzzle as well. So as you can see, when I go down, I go into low port, I turn up, it switches to high port. So it kind of works in two different directions. So again, you can see the result like that. And you also have manual high and low port. So when I hold down Z, that's what I have it bound to. We go into high port. When I hold down X, we go into low port. Now this is affected by the muzzle length as well. So if I attach the long barrel with a suppressor on it, which is obviously very long, right now I walk into it. As you can see, the collision is affecting, the muzzle. Well, it's affecting, it's putting you into high, low, and low port. Sorry, it's putting your, I can't speak. It's moving your muzzle or your firearm around as it's trying to block the collision. So here I have it at about this far. And if I turn over, and I'll go ahead and replace that with just the barrel, and I'll switch to the flash hider. As you can see, I am no longer being blocked here. My muzzle's not being moved around. So that way, firearms have an advantage based upon their length. So making something like an SBR might be a more viable option depending on the map than a full-length firearm. So that is also toggleable somewhere. I just got to actually go through and find it. That might be in the character. I think I put that in the character. So you can turn that on or off. Over here we have, right here, use auto port. So if this is on, it's going to use it. If you turn it off, or if you want to make your own system for this, you just uncheck it. And now when you walk into walls, the firearm just goes right through it because there's no auto port. However, you can still do it manually if you wish. So I'm going to turn that back on, and let's see what's next. Okay, that covers pretty much everything about the firearm. So next up, I'm going to do a very, very brief video when it comes down to projectiles. And then we're going to obviously move down the list into characters, then firearm parts, which there's a decent bit of them. The animation instance, I'll do a brief overview on that, the weapon switching, and then discuss the optics, which in my opinion play a very key part in this system and making it feel good. So I will see you in the next video when we get to that.